Good morning. It is Friday, May 26th, and currently 66 degrees in Irvine. I asked the Creative South community uh, to give me some questions, some topics to talk about today, and I got some good ones. So I'm gonna maybe do. They were. Let me see. Most of these were around freelance. Sean Moynihan gave a bunch of them, so I think I'm gonna cover one of those. And let me see, 6 years ago, I was working at a job that I wasn't happy at, and I was making roughly 25 to 27,000 dollars a year. And I wanted to. This was completely outside of like design, something else, and I wanted to move into design. And I decided I was just gonna go for it and figure out how to freelance. At the time, it kind of seemed daunting. I didn't know exactly how I was gonna do it. I didn't even know how many like clients I would need, and I just kind of went for it. Now, looking back, I feel like I was maybe a little bit naive, and I should have known better or had a better idea, because I don't know how I did it. Looking back, but the thing is that I went on to essentially create a six-figure business. So I went from making 27,000 to over six figures. So it worked out. It worked out well. Now that I'm back to doing freelance work again, and I'm working full time, I have a completely different perspective on it. And I've been going back and forth trying to figure out how many clients can I actually have at one time. And the weird thing is that, see, back then I thought I'm gonna have to have like 6 to 8 clients. Um, each one paying anywhere between like $500 to maybe a few thousand, couple thousand, for like a logo or a website, and those are the types of projects that I was getting. Now I'm still, I still do web design and some branding, but a lot of the bigger projects that I work on are around product design, and those typically go for like 5,000 to potentially more. And so now, ironically, I still kind of came back to freelancing and wondering, well, how many clients am I going to need? And for some reason, my mind just went back to that stage where I was thinking I'm going to need 6 to 8 clients. And what I found is that that's not true. I mean, I can get two, and I have more than enough for the next like month or so, depending on the length of the engagement and the size of the budget. Um, and so right now, I stick to 2 clients. Every so often, I'll move that threshold to 4, but I found that having 4 clients at one time is a little bit too much. It's possible depending on the length of the engagement and basically the scope of the work, but it's not my favorite thing. So I'd rather keep it at around 2. And the reason why is because I found that the level of effort that goes into working with a client stays the same, whether it's let's just say, a client that's a 1 week engagement for $2,000 or a client that's a 4 week engagement for $10,000. The level of effort is the same. The only thing that changes is the length of time. And the reason why is because all that effort goes into the communication, the follow ups, the setup, the onboarding of the client, and the quality of work that you're doing doesn't go down. The only thing that goes down is the amount of work that you're doing. So typically 2 clients is what I like to keep. Um, and the way that I try to make it work so that I can still hit my monthly goals is, if it's a smaller project, let's just say it's like $1,000 or something for a couple of days worth of work, I try to make sure that it sticks to that. If those projects end up extending because for whatever the reason, either because of follow-ups were slow or revisions or whatever it was, then they start to become a little bit less profitable. So I try to keep those to a set amount of time, depending on what was agreed upon, and make sure that they don't delay for any reason. And so then this way, if I do need to take on more clients, then it makes it easier to balance and schedule when I can start the next project. But otherwise, typically, my projects tend to range roughly 4 weeks. So if you can just imagine, if I'm starting at the beginning of the month, so probably I'm working with a client for the entire month, and I'm probably not working with more than two clients at one time. And even within the two clients, I have to be careful to manage how much time I give each one and when I give them time. So if I only have the two clients, it's easy to keep communication open with both of them. So 100% of the time. Um, and I try to keep it within like reasonable hours too. And as far as the work, I'll make sure to follow up so that while I'm waiting on one client to give me some information, I'm working on the second project. And by the time that I get the information, I can usually jump back. Um, but yeah, so two clients at one time is generally what I try to keep it at. Four, I found that it gets to be a little bit too much. And then even with the two clients, what I'll do is, as far as like my time and my days, I try to work from 10 to 4 with clients. Um, but in reality, I'm probably at my computer from like 7 to 6. And in those like off hours at the beginning of the day and at the end, I'm either doing strategy or making notes for myself about what I need to work on, scheduling tasks, or I'm working on content that I want to create. And then I also do that only between Monday and Thursday. And then I keep Friday completely open so that I can do anything else that I want to do. So I have a couple of hours in the morning, an hour in the evening, and then all day Friday to work on my own stuff. So that's probably some of what I'm going to be doing today is working on my projects. I know that I just wrapped up one project yeah, last night, and I'm starting another one on Monday. And I'm also actually not Monday. Yes, Monday, because I'm getting some updates later today from a client. So I'll be starting that stuff on Monday, and I'm going to be heads down on that. So that's how I schedule my time. Everybody's a little bit different. What I would suggest is that you figure out what your monthly goal is. So let's say that you want to hit $10,000 a month. You need to figure out what your average price per project is going to be. So if your average project is like 2,500, then that means you are aiming to get 4 clients a month. And you're going to have to balance and figure out, can you actually handle that much, and what is the scope of that $2,500 project for the client. But it's not that hard if you can break it down that way. So for example, $10,000, and I'm working on a $5,000 app design. I may only need one or two clients. So that's how I try to schedule my stuff. That works for me. Again, like I was saying, you'll have to figure out what's best for you and how to schedule that, how to organize it, and then go from there. You can always like adjust it. That's the important thing, is make sure that you're ready to adjust it, because it will change from month to month, and hopefully it's based on you and your decision to make those adjustments rather than being caught off guard and something changes, right? You end up double booking something, or something falls through and you don't want to be caught in that situation. So that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to go get some coffee and get my day started. Talk to you guys Monday.